Have you ever felt like you're working hard, but not really getting the results you expect? What if I told you that most of your success doesn't come from working more? It comes from working smarter. That's exactly what the 80/20 principle reveals. The main idea is simple but powerful. 80% of your results come from just 20% of your actions. Think about it. A small portion of your work, effort, or time creates the majority of the value. Whether it's your career, studies, finances, or relationships, there's always a small fraction of inputs that create the biggest outputs. But here's where most people go wrong. They focus on being busy, answering emails, attending meetings, checking off endless to-do lists, but only a tiny bit of that actually matters. The book challenges this mindset by showing how focusing on the vital few rather than the trivial many can dramatically improve your life. It's not about working harder. It's about identifying the few actions that make the biggest difference and doing more of those. Once you begin to apply the 80/20 principle, everything starts to shift. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop saying yes to everyone and everything. Instead, you start prioritizing. You start simplifying. You ask, what's the one thing I can do today that will create the most value? That one shift in thinking can lead to massive improvements in productivity, time management, and even mental peace. You begin to realize that being overwhelmed doesn't mean you're productive. It just means you're unfocused. This principle can be applied in almost every area of life. In time management, focus on the few tasks that deliver most of your results and eliminate or delegate the rest. In your career, identify which skills, projects, or relationships are bringing you real growth. In your personal life, spend more time with the people who uplift you and less with the ones who drain your energy. Financially, track where your money goes. You'll find that a few habits or expenses are consuming most of your income. You don't have to change everything. You just need to change the right things. What's interesting is that the 80/20 rule exists everywhere in business, economics, even nature. For example, 80% of a company's revenue often comes from 20% of its customers. 80% of website traffic usually comes from 20% of content. When you study successful people, they're not doing everything. They're doing fewer things, better. They've mastered the art of focus. They know where their energy should go, and they don't waste it on things that don't contribute to their bigger goal. One of the most powerful lessons in the book is learning how to say no. When you recognize that not all opportunities are equal, you become more intentional. You protect your time and energy. You stop trying to please everyone. You realize that your time is your most valuable asset, and every yes is a no to something else. This mindset allows you to create space for what truly matters. You become more present, more calm, and more in control. The book also points out a common trap: thinking all tasks are equally important. They're not. Most of your to-do list doesn't really push you forward. It's the few high-impact actions that create momentum. The challenge is identifying them and giving them priority. This doesn't mean you ignore the rest completely. It means you don't let the small stuff run your life. When you adopt this approach, you begin to experience something surprising. You can actually do less and achieve more. In business or content creation, this principle is gold. You don't need to chase every trend or do everything your competitors are doing. Look at your analytics. Which videos perform best? Which posts get the most engagement? Which services generate most of your income? Focus on those. Amplify what's already working. And don't be afraid to cut what isn't. Success isn't about volume. It's about precision. That's the 80/20 mindset. Even in personal development, it applies beautifully. You don't need to read 100 books or learn every strategy. Start with the few ideas that give you the biggest breakthrough. Apply them deeply, not widely. This principle naturally leads you to a simpler, more intentional lifestyle. You become someone who creates space, not chaos. Someone who chooses quality over quantity. peace over pressure, effectiveness over busyness. And that's what the 80-20 principle really gives you. Freedom. Freedom from overwhelm. Freedom from the myth that you need to hustle 24/7. Freedom to design a life that works for you. Because when you let go of what doesn't matter, you create room for what does. You gain clarity. You move with purpose. You win back your time. You feel aligned again. In the end, the book leaves you with a powerful message. Stop spreading yourself thin. Instead, identify the few things that truly matter and double down on them. Whether it's a skill, a project, a habit, or a relationship, give your energy to what works. Because when you do, you'll be amazed at how much you can achieve with far less effort. The 80-20 principle isn't just a rule, it's a way of life. A way to escape the noise and focus on what really moves you forward. So stop doing more